guys! Welcome back to my channel! Magre-reaction video ako sa, ano nga yun? My sister does like my fiance. So, si ate nakahanap nito. Hindi ko pa na ano yun. So, siya nag-search nito sa may YouTube. Hindi ko alam kung bakit. Hindi ko alam pa bakit gusto niya i-reaction video yun. Sa tingin ko naman, napanood niya yun. Hindi ko alam. Basta. So, let's get started. Ayan na.
Hello, I'm Martha. I
Hi,
have an older
Martha.
sister named Bertha, and we hate each other. Ever since I was born, there was an authoritarian and destructive sister.
Wait,
She
stop
always
muna.
wants
First of all, bakit kayo magka-hate? Di ba yung mga sister, ano pa nga, nagkaaway pa nga sila. Ay, nakikipag-away pa yung isa para sa isa kahit mali yung isa. Pero ba't sila magkaaway? What? Start natin paano?
everything to belong to her and refuses to listen to anyone. We
Kaya
often quarrel
pala.
and we
Kaya pala kasi parang lahat ng gusto ng isa napupunta sa isa. Kaya pala naiintindihan ko. Makes sense. Ay,
I guess my mother was very miserable when raising her two daughters, who were always causing trouble. To be honest, I just wanted Bertha to disappear immediately. She is so annoying and bad. She's always stealing my food, clothes, and toys. Even my mother.
what? Okay na yung ano eh. Yung parang nagiging make sense na sa akin yung stealing may food yata. Hindi ko alam, natatandaan. Pero yung mother, Paano? Para attention, ganon? What?
She also wanted to take, and it was too much. But I don't need to fight for anything because people love me so much. If I cry, Bertha will immediately be scolded. That made me feel very gloating. Since childhood, I have owned a pure and lovely appearance. I became an attractive girl and studied well. I won many awards at school and was an obedient child. And Bertha, on the other hand, once told me that she hated
Hala siya. Ang galing na no. Pero, di ba, yung kapatid niya, yung nang-away sa kanya, yung nang-agaw ng ano nila, sabi niya, stealing my mother. What? Stealing my mother, pero gusto siya ng mga tao, yung isa, yung inaaway niya. Stealing my mother, paano? Kasi, medyo magulo ako mag-explain. Yung nang-aaway sa kanya, sabi niya, stealing my mother. Ay, yung sabi ni inaway, sabi stealing my mother. Tapos, paano stealing my mother? Gusto ko ng mga tao, di ba? Tapos, stealing my mother, paano yun? Attention? Na? Sabi ko attention pa, talagang oras? Di ko alam kung paano stealing my mother.
to be like me. So she always did the opposite of what I had. She often played fighting with children in the neighborhood. Growing up a little more, she neglected learning. Once she skipped class to play with her friends and didn't go home for 2 days. My mother was very worried and called the police.
Siguro yung una, yung nakikipag-away, siguro, ang rami na na-detention. At saka yung 2 days. 2 days? What? 2 days ka? Hindi pumunta sa may bahay? Okay. Stress na ako
As a result, they saw that she was having fun with a bunch of bad people in a bar and dropped out of school to go to the bar to serve. What the heck? Is she losing her mind? Joining in this such complicated place, not even leaving a message. Because she was a minor, the police only made a warning report and took her home.
What? kapag naanoin ko, naintindihan ko ulit, na kapag palagi siya na rereklamo, talaga, grabe, maiinis talaga ako sa kanya.
She came home and didn't say anything. My mother was worried, so she shouted at Berta. As a result, she yelled at her and kicked her out of the
Ha? Hindi, ganito kasi sa amin, bawal kami manigaw na, bawal ko sigawan si mama o mga kapatid namin, bawal ko sigawan. At saka bawal na rin sa sigawan sa akin kasi si mama tatanggalan kami ng baon. Pero siguro hindi naman totoo yun, parang panakot lang. Sinigawan, what? Parang siya yung nanay dito
room. I was extremely angry about that action, but Mom stopped me when she saw that I intended to fight Bertha. It's ridiculous that my mother is afraid of her. Perhaps after this time, my mother was afraid of her to leave again. Okay, suppose this time I forgive her for the sake of my mother. If there is a next time, I will definitely give her a lesson. Not long after that, Bertha
Noong una pa lang. Siguro yon, bad girl. Ano nangyari doon? Bakit yung nanay is natatakot sa anak niya? Dapat yung anak niya natatakot sa may nanay. Kasi, pwedeng ma-blackmail yung nanay. Kunyari, hindi ka papakain ng isang araw, o kaya, hindi ka bibigyan ng baon. Ganun. Pero, ba't natatakot yung nanay?
continued to cause trouble everywhere. But one very strange day, she came home but didn't argue with me like usual. Bertha looked miserable, her clothes dirty, as if she had just rolled with someone outside the bush. The lips were pale and the eyes were red. It was the
Itanong ako. Di ba marunong mag-makeup yun?
first time I was worried about Bertha. I thought for a long time and decided to knock on Bertha's door to inquire. She refused to open the door, but I could hear the furniture being knocked out very clearly. What happened to Bertha after all? That question kept me up.
Siguro yung bata na to, ito, siguro siya, mabait. Kasi, guys, isipin nyo talaga, yung kapatid nyo, o kaya kaibigan nyo, na inaaway kayo, pero may concern pa rin kayo sa kanya. Kasi, kung wala kang concern, sabi mo, huwag ko nga isipin nyo. Pero siya, inaaway siya ng kapatid niya, pero, iniisip niya pa rin. Siguro sobrang bait kaya sa mahal ng mga tao.
At night. Since then, Bertha has become silent. The weirdest thing is that Bertha's health is getting worse. Whatever she eats in her mouth is vomiting up. My mother wants to take her to the hospital, but she insists on saying that she can walk by herself. After returning from the hospital, Bertha looked even worse than before. What happened? I'm not sure about how I feel, but I feel she's lying. She told my mother that she had a stomachache, so she needed some snacks, and then she went into her room.
Ang weird. Hindi, kasi, siya, buntis? Ha? Kasi, nagsusuka siya. Di ba, kapag buntis, guys, hindi ako professional, kapag buntis ka daw, nasusuka. Di ko alam kung nahilo, hindi pa na sinabi niya. Pero, siguro buntis to. Tuloy na natin.
I was very curious about this. In the end, I decided to wait for her to leave the house and then sneak into her room to check. I rummaged through the room and saw no declaration of her illness. I searched the trash can next to the table and found a
Huli ko bingo. Sabi ko na buntis nga siya. Ang tanong, baka gets ko na. Mamaya, iaano ko sa inyo. O ngayon na. Sige, ngayon na. Kaya yung title na my sister does like my fiance, baka yung fiance niya ay nakabuntis sa sister niya, kaya ayaw niya. Pero hula ko lang to, guys. Di ko alam kung totoo. Kasi hula ko lang talaga kasi nabuntis. Tapos, kung naman, kahit ngayon parang walang pakialam na lang yung sister niya kung magkaaway sila. Pero, talaga isipin pinapakialaman yung buhay nila. Sabihin, ayun lang talaga, hula ko lang guys, pero hindi ako professional na makakulan. Okay? So, let's start na ulit.
Pregnancy test with 2 distinct red lines. My heart was beating very fast now. I tried to look more and I saw a crumpled paper which was an ultrasound. The result was 2 weeks pregnant. What is going on? This is an unexpected fact. Suddenly, Bertha returned to her room. I was
Bakit? Wait. First question. Hindi ko alam kung may sagot question. First question. Kung hindi natatakot yung kapatid niya sa nanay niya, yung nang-aapi sa kanya, ayan si... Hindi ko alam yung pangalan niya, kalimutan ko talaga. Ayan, yung babae na yung naka-pink. Yung inaapa sa kanya, yung babae naman hindi marunong mag-makeup. Di marunong, yung parang yung isa doon, na daw, 2 weeks. Isabihin, 2 weeks niyang tinatago na buntis siya. Bakit niya tinago kung di naman siya takot sa may nanay niya? Diba? Makes sense.
discovered. I'm dead now. I don't know where to run anymore. Bertha looked very scared. She screamed and rushed to recoil the paper. She even beat me. I angrily threatened her that I would bring this result to my mother about her pregnancy. I quickly recovered the paper and ran down the stairs. Bertha
Mapupunit.
frantically followed me, and both of us were struggling for a while. Unfortunately, Bertha slipped down the stairs. I was dumbfounded, blood on Bertha's legs.
Guys, kung buntis siya, si Bertha yata ton black. Bakit ayaw niya makita na nanay niya? Bakit? Bakit magagalit siya? Di ba sabi niya, natatakot yung nanay niya sa kanya. At saka dapat yung babae hindi na nakapag-agawan kasi stair yun, pwede kang mahulog at pwede kang maiba pa mangyari sa'yo. So, let's start again.
Unexpectedly bleed.
Hindi ko
Mom
i-register
saw
ka.
and quickly called an ambulance. She's been in a coma for a whole day in the hospital. Her mind was extremely disturbed, laughed and cried so hard to understand. My mother knew she was very sad too. I felt guilty, but after a while she grabbed my hair and cursed me like a crazy one. I started to hate her again. It's true that we never got along with each other well. Everything after that eventually passed, but Bertha's psychological state was increasingly rebellious. But I was no longer irritable because I already had...
Si Roy. Siya siguro yung sinasabing fiance niya. At siya siguro yung nakabuntis kay Bertha. Hindi.
after me for years, but now I agreed and accepted him. I took him home to my family debut before deciding on marriage. My mother loved him too, but Bertha was crazy. She chased Roy away and protested my marriage. After that, I hated Bertha even more. On the day
Tama nga ako. Balik na
of
natin.
the marriage, I wrote an invitation to all my relatives. My mother advised me to invite Bertha. I was worried that she would ruin the wedding, but she begged for a long time. I finally decided to write an invitation to both Bertha. The ceremony was extremely convenient, and Roy and I cuddled each other. We cherished this moment. The bustling atmosphere of the ceremony disappeared after Bertha appeared. What the hell? She wore a wedding dress to the party? This is crazy. She drank a lot of alcohol and cried everywhere. She took the microphone of the wedding MC and started talking bad things about me. I couldn't stand with it.
Ha? Parang 99%, yung kaninang 50%, parang naging 99%. Na siya yung nakabuntis, si Roy yung nakabuntis kay Bertha.
So I asked the security to drag her out of the party. She begged me to allow her to invite my husband a glass of wine. Roy agreed and downed the glass. Bertha smiled wickedly and tossed the glass of red wine in her hand on my white dress. So I ran into the room to change my
Tama nga, bad girl.
clothes. Not long after that, Brother Roy felt dizzy and asked to go to the toilet. I felt something was wrong, so I quickly changed and chased. As a result, having just arrived at the men's restroom,
Bakit di siya nagpapalit ng damit? Di ba siya naligo?
Bertha helped Roy to the door of a nearby hotel room. I ran over and pushed Bertha out and kept my husband. She cried miserably and said I was a bastard. She blamed me for stealing everything from her. It turned out that she always envied me because I have the admiration of everyone and you are not. Another horrific... horrific fact was that Miss Bertha hid for 2 years she was raped. Roy was the one I secretly loved when I was a student. She loved Roy very much, but he didn't know about her existence, because at that time, Roy was pursuing me. After learning that Roy loved me, Bertha became even more resentful of me, then left and cried in a grove of trees in the dark. As a result, a hoodlum had seen and raped her on that horrible night. I finally understood why that night Bertha had looked so
Mali. Mali. Na-rape siya.
dirty and pale. That fetus belongs to that hoodlum. She originally didn't want to have an abortion because she hoped to have a child to be friends. But I made her miscarriage and she hated me. At that time, she was so scary she rushed over and hit me. Roy, after being more alert, supported me and held Bertha back. Everyone at the wedding party didn't see me and Roy, so they went looking. When they saw me and her struggling against each other, they came to stop. After the ceremony, we also completed the marriage procedure. Bertha was taken to a mental hospital for treatment. I seemed to no longer hate her anymore.
Siguro na trauma yung madagdagan pa yung trauma niya, yung ni-rape siya. At saka mali tayo kanina, kala ko si Roy yung nakabuntis. Sorry, di ko na
I have pondered a lot. Am I like what Bertha says?
Dapat, guys, huwag kang mainggit. Kung gusto mo, gawin kung mo, makaya mo, kasi gusto mo siya. Dapat huwag kang mainggit na meron yung iba, dapat maging masaya ka na lang. Kung anong meron ka, dapat makontento ka, kasi kung hindi ka makontento doon, nakakagawa ka naman sa bagay na hindi mo gusto, pero yung mo, hindi nakukulong dahil sa inis, tapos gusto mong hindi yun nakakagawa ka na, kahit di mo gusto. So, guys, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more updates. At sana, may natutunan kayo. Bye!